Hi and welcome to a new episode of White Coat. As a continuation for our last episode on ADHD, today we'll welcome back Dr. Keerthy Sunder to talk about ADHD treatment and psychostimulant dependency. Your feedback about last episode was extraordinary. And the phone calls I got from everywhere, like Cairo, Dubai, and California, asking about different cases and the latest lines of treatment will be answered in today's episode. ADHD, as I mentioned last episode, is a very extremely important topic because it touches a lot of our families and a lot of our kids. And I mentioned last episode that 11% between the age of 7 to 16 years old of our kids have ADHD. That means 1 of every 9 kids have ADHD. For interaction with us today, you can message us on our official Facebook page, White Coat, that will be shown on the screen now. Please like and share our page to get the updates and the latest episodes of White Coat. Also, you can call the phone number that will be shown on the screen to talk with our guest today if you have any questions about our topic today. أعزائي مشاهدي قناة الكرمة في كل مكان، برحب بيكم في حلقة جديدة من وايت كوت. تكملة لموضوع حلقتنا اللي فاتت عن موضوع ال ADHD أو زيادة نشاط الحركة ونقص التركيز في الأطفال وفي الكبار كمان. النهاردة بنكمل عن علاج ال ADHD، وبنكمل كمان إنه في سايد افكتس أو بعض من الأعراض الجانبية للأدوية اللي بتستخدم في ال ADHD في الأطفال والكبار. جزء منها بيسبب التعود والإدمان، فهنتكلم كمان على إدمان النوع ده من العقاقير بشكل عام في الأطفال وفي الكبار. بيسعدنا أن النهاردة يكون معنا التاني دكتور كيرثي سندر عشان يكلمنا عن الموضوع ده. الحقيقة تفاعلكم معنا الحلقة اللي فاتت كان رائع جدا. أخدت تليفونات بنفسي واتكلمت مع ناس من يمكن القاهرة ودبي وناس هنا في كاليفورنيا بيسألوا عن ال ADHD في أولادهم، التشخيص. كتير ناس سألوا عن العلاج الجديد لل ADHD وأحدث طرق العلاج. النهاردة هنجاوب ده في حلقتنا. زي ما حضراتكم عارفين، لو عندكم أي أسئلة وللتواصل معنا هيبقى عن طريق صفحتنا الأساسية على الفيسبوك وايت كوت، هتبقى قدام حضراتكم على الشاشة دلوقتي. كمان لأي أسئلة أثناء الحلقة عن موضوعنا وللتواصل مع ضيفنا دكتور سندر ومعنا دكتور سايمون كمان، تقدروا تسألوهم على الهوا لايف. جهزوا كل أسئلتكم، ابعتوها لنا على الفيسبوك أو كلموا أرقام التليفونات اللي هتظهر دلوقتي على الشاشة. ويلا بينا نبتدي فقرات برنامجنا النهارده. Today in Healthy Kids, we'll continue talking about the very important topic, how to deal with hot-tempered kids, angry kids. In our last episodes, we discussed what we can do with them. Today, we'll discuss what we cannot do with them to deal with such a problem. And just to remind you quickly about what we should do with them to deal with that problem, the 5 do's that we discussed last time: do recognize and acknowledge our child feelings. Number 2, practice empathy by acknowledging their child feelings. Number 3, to teach them to solve some of the problem-solving skills. Number 3 is to establish standards of what acceptable behavior and not the acceptable behavior. Number 5 is to try to combine between the time in and time out. And now we'll discuss what we can do with our kids. Number 1 that we can do with our kids is do not go down to your child level of behavior. Your job as a parent is to stay composed. And you have to stay calm, and that will allow your child to deal with their feeling in the midst of this chaos. As a parent, you always need to talk to your child with a calm tone. And the children usually become afraid when their parents get angry. Number two, which is very, very important, do not attempt to orchestrate your children's feeling. It's very important to value your child feeling. And if your child started crying, for example, do not tell them, stop crying. But rather than this, validate their feelings and what they experience, and tell them, I know that if it was me in the same place, it would hurt me and make me cry. Your child tells you, if even your child tells you they hate you or they don't want to see you anymore or you need to leave them alone, you need to stay calm to assure them that you will be next to them no matter what. Number three, which is very, very important, do not ignore their feelings and teach them anger management. Number four, do not encourage bad behavior or attitude. أعزائي المشاهدين، النهاردة لطول الموضوع بتاعنا هنناقش معاكم أو هنكمل مناقشة إزاي تتعامل مع طفلك الغاضب أو اللي عنده مشاعر غضب شديدة جدا. المرة اللي فاتت اتكلمنا بسرعة عن 5 حاجات تعملهم عشان تقدر تتعامل مع طفلك الغاضب. رقم 1 هفكركم بسرعة بالخمس حاجات اللي قلناهم الحلقة اللي فاتت، والنهاردة هنزود عليهم ونناقش في حلقتنا الحاجات اللي ما نعملهمش. رقم 1 ان انت تبقى متفهم تماما انه الغضب جزء من التعبير عن مشاعرهم، زيه زي اي حاجة تانية، زي ما انا قلت المرة اللي فاتت، زي الحزن او الزعل او الفرحة، كل دي وسائل تعبير عن المشاعر. الحاجة التانية المهمة جدا ان انت دايما تحاول تقابل الغضب ده بنوع من اللين، ده يمكن يقلل الموجة الغضب اللي عند طفلك. الحاجة الثالثة ودي المهمة جدا ان انا قلت دايما ان احنا نتعامل مع اطفالنا ازاي، نعلمهم ازاي يحلوا مشاكلهم، وان الغضب مش هو الطريقة الوحيدة للتعبير عن مشاعرك، ولكن ان احنا ممكن نعلمهم مهارات الحل. واديت لحضراتكم امثلة انه لو طفل اتضايق من لعبته مش عارف يشغلها، بدل ما يكسرها اعلمه ازاي يحاول يشغلها، واحاول اديله اوبشنز او اختيارات مختلفة، ان احنا لو عملنا كده هيبقى الوضع افضل، او لو كنا عملنا كده، فاحاول اعلمه مهارات حل المشكلات. الحاجة الرابعة المهمة جدا ان انا دايما يبقى عندي ستاندرد او مستوى معين اتعامل بيه مع طفلي، بمعنى انه لو طفلي غضب من حقه يغضب، وفي بسيب له مساحة للغضب، ولكن في حاجات ما بتعدهاش، زي فكرة العنف او ان انا امد ايدي على اللي قدامي سواء بابا او ماما او اخواتي. الحاجة التانية ان انا ما اكسرش لعبتي. اي نوع من اشكال العنف لازم اكون متفق انه ده مرفوض تماما مع طفلي، وانه ده عمره ما هيقابل بشيء من التشجيع. الحاجة الخامسة المهمة انه بدل ما سياسة التايم اوت اللي احنا بنستخدمها دايما مع اطفالنا، او ان انت تحطه في مكان لوحده، احنا بنحاول نعمل الكومبينيشن ده ما بين ان انا احاول اقعد معاه وافهمه ايه المشكلة، وبين ان انا اديله تايم اوت، لانه التايم اوت على طول الخط قلنا هيقلل من ثقته في نفسه جدا. النهارده هنناقش الحاجات اللي ما اعملهاش مع طفلي بالذات لما يكون غضبان. رقم 1 زي ما بنقول باللغة السهلة بتاعتنا ان انا ما نجرش لملعبه، بمعنى انه لو طفلي غضبان ما تجرش للغضب انا كمان، لانه ده هيعمل نقطتين سيئين جدا. النقطة الأولى ان انا بحاول اقول له ما تغضبش عن طريق ان انا بغضب عليه، فده الحقيقة بيعمل له كونفيوجن جامد جدا، بيلخبطه، لانه انت بتقول له ما تغضبش في الوقت اللي انت فيه غضبان، فده بيلخبطه جدا. الحاجة التانية ان احنا لازم نفهم انه اطفالنا وقت الغضب بيبقى معاهم، الغضب بيبقى معاه نوع من الخوف من رد الفعل اللي قدامي، وبالتالي لما انا بكون هادي بقلل مشاعر الخوف اللي موجودة مع الغضب ده، وبالتالي بقلل موجة الغضب عند طفلي. الحاجة التانية المهمة جدا انه دايما لما اتكلم مع طفلي افهمه ان انا متفهم مشاعره تماما، وما اقعدش زي ما بيقولوا يعني اقابل الشكل ده بنفس الشكل، ولكن اقول له ان انا لو كنت في مكانك الموضوع ده كمان كان هيضايقني جدا، وكنت هغضب، وكان ممكن كمان يخليني اعيط. الفكرة دي بتخلي الطفل نفسه يحس ان انت متفهمه، وبتزود مساحة الثقة بين الطفل وابوه وامه، لانه لازم نبقى فاهمين نقطة مهمة جدا، ان الثقة ما افترضش وجودها في الطفل، ولكن دي ببنيها مع طفلي واحدة بواحدة، وطرق الحل اللي زي دي بتبني الثقة ما بين الطفل وما بين ابوه وامه، وبتساعد على حل مشكلة الغضب جدا. النقطة الثالثة المهمة جدا اللي ما اعملهاش، ان انا زي ما انا قلت ان انا ما كافئش اي سلوك سيء من الطفل. لو الطفل عمل سلوك سيء يبقى عارف انه هيبقى فيه تايم اوت او النوع ده من العقاب، ولكن اذا غضب بس من غير الستاندردز اللي احنا متفقين عليها ان هو ما وصلش لدرجة العنف، دايما ممكن اقعد معاه واكلمه في الموضوع ده. الحاجة الرابعة لا تتجاهل مشاعر طفلك، ودايما تحاول تعلمه ازاي يتحكم في غضبه. انا عارف ان النقطه دي صعبه جدا على الاباء والامهات، لانه احيانا بصراحه بيوصلوا لمرحله ان يخلوك انت كمان تبقى متغاظ وغضبان، ولكن لازم نتحكم في مشاعرنا ونعلم نفسنا حاجه اسمها الثبات الانفعالي، انه في عز ما انا منفعل ابقى عندي ثبات انفعالي داخلي، ان انا ما اوصلش لدرجه العنف مع طفلي، واحاول اعلم طفلي فكره الانجر مانجمنت واحده بواحده. ده هيساعدنا جدا. النهارده دي كان بس كل فقراتنا اللي في البدايه، وهنبتدي موضوعنا عن الاي دي اتش دي وعلاجه وكل الانواع الادمان عن السايكوستيمولانت ديبندنس، ودي هتبقى اول فقرات برنامجنا النهارده. ابعتوا لنا اسئله طول اي وقت في الحلقه، هنحاول نستقبل اسئلتكم. كونوا معانا عشان نبتدي فقرات برنامجنا النهارده.
Brain optimization nutraceutical product line. Our first product is the Brain Shake, which contains plant-based nutrients to help with energy, focus, vitality, and joy. Our second product is turmeric, which is an Indian spice with anti-inflammatory and brain optimization properties. Our third product is the Brain Honey, which is a very sweet preparation that contains wonderful nutraceutical ingredients, cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric, in addition to the beauty of honey. To buy one of our Brain Tune healthy products, please visit us on the Amazon link as seen on the screen, or visit our website at www.drsunder.com.
لشراء إحدى هذه المنتجات زوروا موقعنا الإلكتروني drsunder.com، أو يمكنكم شراء هذه المنتجات من على موقع amazon.com.
I'm Dr. Keerthy Sunder, Chief Medical Officer of the Mind and Body Treatment and Research Institute and Medical Director of the Breezes Relapse and Recovery Intensive Outpatient Program. I'm a board-certified psychiatrist and integrative physician and creator of Brain Tune, Brain Optimization Program and nutraceutical products. I'm also assistant clinical professor of the UC Riverside School of Medicine and the creator of the first functional forum Evolution of Medicine series in Riverside, California. I'm a principal scientific research investigator for FDA-approved clinical trials. I'm the author of Amazon international bestseller, Face Your Addictions and Save Your Life. I co-authored the bestseller, The Success Blueprint, with international speaker Brian Tracy. I began my journey in India, born in the idyllic surroundings of Bhutan, where meditation was a part and parcel of life. Unfortunately, in my early childhood, I had the experience of my beloved mother experiencing severe postpartum depression. That led to multiple challenges in our family, as the principal attachment figure, the mother, was unable to function in the most optimal manner. This ultimately inspired me to be able to target brain and brain optimization as a life goal, as my dear mother continues today to inspire me about integrating the Eastern traditions that were so dear to her and the Western technology and neuroscience, and giving human beings the best chance towards optimizing their lives, recovering from their problems, and fulfilling their lives. My mother's journey was not only integral to my early advancement in obstetrics and gynecology, but also to my movement to the United Kingdom and to train under the auspices of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists in London, and at high-risk pregnancy units and at the Institute of Psychiatry in London to understand the problems associated with pregnancy and postpartum depression and perimenopausal disorders, conduct research and develop treatment protocols, but also have the good fortune of being recruited by the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine in the US to perform research and participate in a research track of residency training. Today, I'm delighted to be a guest on this show and very happy to be able to share my story and my passion, as well as what we would love to accomplish at the Mind and Body Treatment Institute.
أعزائنا المشاهدين، أهلا بيكم مرة تانية في الجزء الثاني من حلقتنا النهاردة عن نقص التركيز وزيادة النشاط الحركي في الأطفال. اتكلمنا عنه بالتفصيل المرة اللي فاتت، عن كل أعراضه، كل حاجة عن المرة تقريبا اتكلمنا عنها. كان ناقص لنا التريتمنت، اتكلمنا بس على الأدوية، واحنا اتفقنا انه العلاج هيكون على 3 مراحل مهمين جدا. اول حاجة ان احنا الأدوية جزء مهم جدا. الحاجة الثانية ان احنا هنعلم الأهل او الفاميلي، الأسرة، ازاي تتعامل مع ده. ثالث نقطة مهمة جدا وهي احدث طرق العلاج لل ADHD، اللي هي فكرة النيورو فيدباك او الأجهزة الجديدة اللي بنقعد الأطفال عليها عشان نقدر نعالج النوع ده من المشاكل. مبسوط جدا بكل التليفونات اللي اخدتها من حضراتكم طول الاسبوع. النهارده كمان زي ما احنا شايفين على الشاشه دلوقتي الخطوط التليفون، حضراتكم كلمونا في اي وقت للتواصل معانا. سعداء جدا جدا انه النهارده هيكون معانا دكتور كيرثي سندر. It's such a pleasure and honor to have you back, Dr. Sunder. Welcome back to White Coat. My co-host, Dr. Simon.
Thank you for having me back. Dr. Sunder, welcome.
Thank you indeed, both of you. Totally looking forward to the show this morning.
As a continuation for the last episode, we talked about ADHD and all the symptoms and signs and how to the criteria for diagnosis. Today, we'll just talk about the treatment of ADHD. We discussed part of it the last episode. And actually, I want to start from this point. What is the treatment for ADHD? Now I got diagnosed according to the criteria that you explained the last episode. How would we treat ADHD?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Tamer, and welcome, audience. We talked about this, that the treatment of ADHD has to be comprehensive.
Right.
And that means that there is a component of education of the child and the family. There is also psychological intervention. There are medications, that's a pharmacological treatment. And then there are natural remedies or pharmacological interventions that have also been proven to work.
Right.
In terms of educating the child and the family, I think what is important is to recognize that this child who's got this impairment is going to get better. However, it is important for the family to have a compassionate approach towards the child.
Right.
Be non-judgmental, set the right kind of boundaries, and provide the atmosphere for the child to be able to make the errors, however, be able to learn from that by setting the appropriate, guidelines for the child to actually grow. And that also means that the psychological interventions would need to include a trained child psychologist, for example, to provide the help and support for the family to learn about what to do, but also address the child. And primarily, cognitive behavioral therapy, for instance, is a wonderful way that has been proven to help with trying to set the cognitions and the thought process and so forth in a way that behavior actually does change.
سؤالي كان عن فكرة التريتمنت بشكل عام لل ADHD. زي ما قلنا المرة اللي فاتت في أدوية معينة هنستخدمها في علاج ال ADHD، ولكن دكتور سندر كمان قال لنا النهاردة إنه فكرة السايكوثيرابي أو الكوجنيتيف بيهيفيرال ثيرابي مهمة جدا في العلاج، وإن إحنا إزاي نستخدم سايكولوجيست أو راجل أخصائي نفسي مع العلاج عشان يعلم مش بس الطفل، عشان يعلم الطفل ويعلم الأسرة كمان معاه. وتعليم الأسرة إزاي تتعامل مع المرض ده مهم جدا جدا جدا. مش بس إن إحنا نعلمهم إزاي يتعاملوا مع الطفل دايركت، ولكن في حاجات لازم يعملوها عشان يتعاملوا مع الطفل بتاع ال ADHD. أهمهم على الإطلاق إن إحنا لما ندي الطفل ده التركيز بتاعه قليل، فلما أجي أديله أي نوع من التعليمات ما أقدرش أقول له هتعمل كذا وبعدين كذا وبعدين كذا. لازم التعليمات تبقى قصيرة جدا، بسيطة جدا وسهلة وواضحة قدر الإمكان. لو أنا عايز أقول لطفلي كذا ما اديلوش برنامج يومي، اقول له هتذاكر وبعدين هتعمل كذا وكذا وكذا. القصه دي مش هتنفع مع اطفال ال ADHD. لازم التعليمات تبقى قصيره، واذا لزم الامر اكررها اكتر من مره، عشان زي ما احنا قلنا انه بيبقى عندهم احيانا مشاكل بينسوا لو انا قلت لهم كذا حاجه ورا بعض. فالتعليمات تبقى قصيره جدا. في نفس الوقت كل الاوضه بتاعتهم اللي بيذاكروا فيها او قاعدين فيها احاول اقلل كل الحاجات اللي ممكن تعمل لهم ديستراكشن او تبعد ذهنهم عن الموضوع ده. ده مهم جدا جدا. كمان الفكرة بتاعت غير التعليم ان احنا كمان هنتكلم على ازاي اتعامل مع psychologist.
So, Dr. Sunder, in your response, you talked about family education. If we were to take a look at the family table, like our table right here, oftentimes what I encounter is that the child gets put in the hot seat and everyone just pointing fingers about the ADHD or whatever issue is going on. And I think from a therapist perspective, what happens is that when you put the child in the middle, it only increases the anxieties. What are your thoughts on some awareness we can bring about to the family and how to handle actual practical situations when an episode is taking place?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Dr. Simon, you bring up. Essentially recognizing that, most of us learn with the help of corrective behaviors and so forth. And that's how the brain basically gets optimized and starts to put the patterns in the brain that help us to sort of correct our errors and so forth. And so it's extremely important in that atmosphere, not only for the family to actually learn how to deal with a child that is, indulging in behaviors that may be annoying and frustrating and so forth. And that's where I think the help of a trained child psychologist who can help with behavior regulation and so forth, and use cognitive techniques so that the thoughts and feelings are, regulated in such a way that the parents can actually see that, what we call transference and countertransference, adjust that, and then make those corrective actions. From the child's perspective also, it's extremely important to coach the child to be able to communicate effectively, because that is part of the inattention and impulsivity that is coming on, so that the child learns how to actually express the frustration, how to express the distress and so forth, such that, there is this seamless communication. It's almost like a dance, if you like. And the family needs to learn to dance differently. And I think we are going to talk a little bit about what neurofeedback does and how neurofeedback allows the child to dance better with the family.
So to give the family like simple instructions how to deal with the kid, like what would those
Yeah, I mean, my follow-up question is, I know we're focusing on the child seeing a specialist, like a child psychologist, but do you feel that there's also a significant amount of importance that the parents also be getting some kind of therapeutic help in teaching them better parenting or different parenting skills?
Absolutely. I think you nailed it completely, that it is both of them. The family also getting counseling and so forth in order to be able to learn the ways to be non-judgmental, to be compassionate, to set the boundaries appropriately, to actually minimize the amount of stimulation that is going on for the child, distractions and so forth, and give one task at a time and one instruction at a time and not multiple instructions, and allow that brain to get optimized slowly. You know, the child has to grow up. There is no urgency for the child to become an adult overnight, you know. So I think there is a certain amount of patience that is needed, and that's where the intervention comes in.
زي ما قال الدكتور سندر دلوقتي وكرر تاني فكرة انه مش بس الولد اللي محتاج يشوف سايكايترست وسايكولوجيست، لا العيلة كمان زي ما انا قلت لازم تتعلم عن طريق ان انا اديله انستراكشنز بسيطة سهلة واضحة، حاجة واحدة بس كل وقت، اقلل فكرة الازعاج والديستراكشنز من اوضته تماما. مش لازم احط جنبه تلفزيون واحط جنبه 2 3 كمان بيذاكروا، الطفل ده مش هيعرف يذاكر مثلا او يقعد. ولكن زي ما انا قلت التعليمات تبقى قصيره واضحه، حاجه واحده في المره الواحده، ما اقولوش 50 حاجه جنب بعض. حاجه كمان مهمه جدا انه زي ما انا قلت قلل الديستراكشن ده من اوضته. حاجه ثالثه انه الفاميلي كمان او الاسره تتعامل مع السايكولوجيست ده عشان يفهموا فكره ازاي نقدر نتعامل مع طفل بالشكل ده. كمان الاسره ما تبقاش زي ما بنقول جادجمنتال او بتتعامل مع الولد بشيء من العنف او القسوه، لانه انا بقول لكم من دلوقتي ده مش هيجيب نتيجه. لازم نتفهم انه ده مرض ولازم نتفهم ازاي نتعامل معاه. زي ما انا وعدت حضراتكم عن طريق التليفونات او ردودي على الفيسبوك، النهارده هنتكلم على واحده من احدث التكنيكس اللي بنستخدمها في الاي دي اتش دي، وهي فكره اجهزه اللي بنسميها النيورو فيدباك اللي بتفهمنا ده. فدلوقتي دكتور سندر هيكلمنا على النوع ده من العلاج. As one of the pioneers, and you did it a lot in your practice, I know, and you have seen a lot of good results, how the neurofeedback works, how it benefits the kid. And as a complex question, is there any side effects from it, and at what age we can start? I know it's like 3 questions in one, but so what's your input about the neurofeedback?
Thank you, Dr. Tamer. I think that when we look at interventions, we recognize that, you know, we can talk to the brain, which we talked about psychologically, having intervention. We can medicate the brain, which we talked about, the various stimulant medications and non-stimulant medications that can be utilized. But we can also get the brain to observe itself and self-regulate itself, because the brain is a curious organ and wants to get better. And one of the frustrations parents have is, we have been instructing the child to do this and the teachers, but the child keeps repeating the same mistake over and over again.
Right.
So this is where what has been found is neurofeedback, and the sophistication in neurofeedback over the last 3 decades or so, in terms of the type of software that we have, and in terms of the research that is being conducted and so forth, is so good that we are able to show the brain its own brainwave activity. And in the process, the brain becomes a bit more curious and starts to auto-regulate itself and so forth. And that, I think, is where we are finding good results, both at our practice and elsewhere across the world, where neurofeedback is being used as an adjunctive treatment, sometimes even mainstream treatment, where the children and the parents do not want to use medications, do not have access to psychological interventions and so forth, where it can be done. And we can absolutely show a video of how...
Right. It's in slide 2. We'll show it now to the audience. But at what age we can start?
You know, it's interesting you bring that question up, that neurofeedback has been tried in little children as, young as 1 to 3 years old, potentially, in order to, absolutely help regulate the brain. But that said, as we know, the symptoms of ADHD begin between 3 and 7 and so forth.
Right.
So in the hands of a good neurofeedback therapist or clinician, it is possible to really dial in the protocols and so forth and help this child's brain to regulate itself. And there are specific protocols that help with ADHD.
So do you think it would be a very wonderful help between the age of 3 and 7 before we start the medication. So it can work, it can fit this age.
Well, I think the way to look at this is that that's the time when the brain activity is, at its robustness, if you like. The connectivity is happening at a fast rate and so forth. And it's a good time to allow the brain to witness its own activity with the help of neurofeedback, which might allow for, the alternative treatments to actually become quite efficacious and maybe minimize the use of medications, and if appropriately done, may not need the medications.
Okay. We'll see the video now, slide 2, the ballerina effect video. Then we'll come back to explain to the audience the mechanism of work.
Okay,
right?
That's great.
Okay. دلوقتي أنا سألت دكتور سندر فكرة النيورو فيدباك أو الأجهزة اللي احنا بنستخدمها جديد. هنشوف دلوقتي الفيديو بيشتغل قدامنا. إيه هي فكرة الفيديو إيه هي فكرة العلاج بشكل عام. فهو قال لي انه النوع ده من الاجهزه هي فكرته كلها انه البرين بتاعنا بيبقى عامل زي الباليرينا اللي حضراتكم شايفينها قدامنا، والجهاز ده بيبقى عامل زي فكره المرايه اللي قدامها. لو الباليرينا دي بتبتدي ترقص غلط وتعمل حركات غلط من غير مرايه مش هتقدر تشوف انها بتعمل حاجه غلط، ولكن لما بتبص لنفسها في المرايه بتقدر تعدل طرق الرقص بتاعتها وبتقدر تعمل الحركات بشكل مظبوط اكتر. هو نفس فكره الاجهزه بالظبط بتاع النيورو فيدباك، ان احنا بنخلي مخ الطفل بيبص عن طريق الاجهزه دي، والاجهزه دي بتخلي المخ يبص بشكل افضل للحاجات اللي بيعملها غلط مع الاطفال بتاعه الاي ADHD، والمخ بيحاول يراجع نفسه ويعدل طرق ازاي بيفانكشن وازاي بيشتغل عن طريق فكره ان انا اعمل مرايه للمخ يبص عليها ويستفيد من كل الغلطات اللي وقع فيها. ده فيديو تاني قدامنا الطفل، يا ريت نكمله. ازاي الطفل ده بيقعد قدام الكمبيوتر، هي دي الاجهزه الجديده، والكمبيوتر اللي بيبقى قدامه بالظبط كده ده بيبقى المرايه، وده بيبقى فيه سوفت وير خاص او برامج معينه بتبقى للاطفال بتقدر تجذب انتباههم لفترات اطول، بتخلي المخ يهدى اكتر، وبتخلي المخ ازاي يقدر يتعامل مع السوفت وير او البروجرام البرنامج اللي موجود على الكمبيوتر، وبتخلي الطفل يركز لفترات اطول. ودي طرق جديده جدا من طرق العلاج. دكتور سندر واحد من الناس اللي بتعملها كويس جدا جدا جدا. I was just saying you're one of the pioneers to those kind of treatment, especially here in California, and I explained the neurofeedback and how it works. So now we talked about the family education, treatment of the kid himself or herself, and the neurofeedback.
Right. So now that we've discussed up to this point, the pharmacological interventions, non-pharmacological interventions, there's one area that we really need to take a look at. And that area is nutrition and consumption of various foods, and how does that affect a child diagnosed with ADHD? What are some tips and tricks, do's and don'ts? What can you help us with?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Simon. I think another extremely important question with regard to how do you nourish the brain?
Nutrition.
Because ultimately, there's this child who essentially is so distracted, impulsive, and so forth, cannot pay attention to various tasks and so forth, and perhaps maybe not consuming timely meals, skipping them, and consuming fizzy drinks, maybe eating a lot of chocolate and, sweets and so on and so forth during the day. And so what we understand is that nourishing the brain appropriately gives the atmosphere in the brain for, if you introduce medications, for medications to work appropriately, psychological interventions, or neurofeedback and so forth. So it's extremely important to recognize that one has to minimize the use of carbohydrates and sugars and so forth, keep the fizzy drinks at a minimum. Definitely you don't want to be drinking all of that after 7 in the evening and so forth. And, also limit the amount of caffeine use and so forth in children. These are some basic nutritional components that need to be addressed. But also, we have to nourish it with super nutrients. Okay. So if you would allow me to just highlight a little bit.
Perfect. About the your brain tune product to deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we recognized was, in order for the brain to function optimally throughout the lifespan, you want to begin early with nourishing the brain with super nutrients. Fortunately, nutritional research has advanced to such an extent that we are able to extract from plant-based non-allergenic materials, which is, if you have milk allergies and gluten and so on and so forth, we are able to extract from plants such as broccoli and red palm oil that have been shown to have great nutrients for the brain, superfoods if you like. And one of them is acetyl L-carnitine that has actually been demonstrated selectively in the inattentive ADHD, optimization, if you like. And we have a brain shake product. And the shake is interesting because it is actually a powder that can be introduced in milk or in almond milk and so on and so forth. And that contains several super nutrients, including acetyl and carnitine, that essentially would promote that wonderful, nourished brain that will then improve over time.
الحقيقة كان سؤال رائع جدا من دكتور سايمون عن اوكي احنا دلوقتي خلاص عالجنا الطفل نفسه وعالجنا وفهمنا انه العيلة نفسها او الفاميلي الأسرة محتاجة انها تفهم طبيعة المرض وتتعامل مع الطفل بشكل مختلف. كان سؤال مهم جدا عن التغذية. الأطفال بتوع ال ADHD بالذات محتاجين نوع معين من التغذية لأنه مخهم بشكل عام بيبقى اكتف ونشيط جدا زيادة عن اللزوم، عندهم مشكلة كبيرة جدا في الحركة. ازاي نقدر نتعامل مع تغذية الأطفال دي؟ حاجة مهمة جدا من الحاجات اللي قالها دكتور سندر النهاردة، ازاي ان احنا نتحكم في فكرة الكربوهيدرات او السكر، كمية السكر اللي بنديه لأطفالنا في الوجبات بتاعتهم. مهم جدا 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 انه قبل ما يناموا، لو هيناموا الساعة 10 بنقول بعد الساعة 7 3 ساعات مفيش اي نوع من السكريات خالص، لانه ده بيزود نشاط المخ بتاعهم وبالتالي بيخلي الحالة تزيد جدا جدا بتأثر على النوم بتاعهم. نقطة تانية مهمة جدا انه بشكل عام انتقي نوعية الاكل اللي انا بديها للأطفال، وبالذات نوعية البروتينات اللي بتبقى موجودة في الاكل. نقطة ثالثة مهمة جدا، ودي دكتور سندر عمل برودكت جديد أو منتج جديد تقدروا حضراتكم تشتروه من على الموقع الإلكتروني بتاعه أو من على أمازون ويب سايت. هنشوفه قدامنا دلوقتي، اللي هو ده البرودكت. ده شيك عبارة عن باودر، بودرة بنقدر نحطها للأطفال في اللبن، بنقدر نحطها لهم في الشوكولاتة مثلا، أو أي نوع من أنواع السوائل نقدر ندوبها لهم فيها. بيحتوي على نوع من البروتينات، ده اللي أنا كنت بقول لحضراتكم، الأسيتايل L-كارنيتين. ده نوع من البروتينات بيساعد المخ جدا وبيساعد الأعصاب بشكل عام في المخ. زي ما أنا قلت لحضراتكم تقدروا تشتروه من www.drsunder.com أو من على amazon.com، لأنه البرودكت ده بيساعد جدا كنوع من أنواع البروتينات اللي بتساعد جدا في الحالات دي. Back to the pharmacological treatment, can we explain what is the pharmacological treatment very quick? Just to remind them with the CNS stimulants or non-stimulant that we use for the ADHD, and to explain to them what are the CNS stimulants.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Dr. Tamer there. We know that the brain in ADHD essentially requires a certain amount of optimization so that it can feel alert and it can get focused and that the attention is sustained,
right.
And the impulsivity is diminished.
Okay.
So, we are addressing all of it. And the hyperactivity is diminished as well.
Right.
So this is where the concept is to use either stimulant medications that essentially increase alertness and cause the person to feel more energized. And they are medications such as Adderall, Ritalin, Vyvanse, and so forth. You also have non-stimulant medications that go in a different way in the brain and produce neurotransmitters that also help without causing the side effects of stimulants, right, such as Strattera, Wellbutrin, and Clonidine, and so forth. And those are essentially the components that we have addressed even earlier that help with ADHD.
And what are the other stimulants, especially those like they use them for weight loss and
Absolutely.
the illegal drugs, the illegal.
Yeah.
So we can go over everything, then we can talk about how
Thank
they
you
work.
for that as well. So then you have, several others that are stimulants, but assist with other, if you like, off-label, indications, right, such as obesity, such as increasing alertness recreationally, if you like. And so you have medications such as phentermine that are approved overall to help with weight loss, but then used excessively or beyond what is prescribed, they can cause dependence and all the other problems. You also have illicit stimulants that are in the similar category as the amphetamine salts and so forth, such as methamphetamine and cocaine and so forth, that essentially produce similar effects. But as we will be discussing in the future, they cause not only dependence, but serious impairment and functional distress across a lifespan.
سؤالي كان عن ان احنا نفكر حضراتكم تاني بفكره العلاج او الادويه المستخدمه في ده. زي ما احنا قلنا المره اللي فاتت بنستخدم للاي ADHD ستيمولانتس او محفزات نفسيه بنسميها الريتالين او الادرول او الفايفانز. حاجات تانية ما بتشتغلش بفكره تحفيز البرين زي الستراتيرا. من ضمن كل المحفزات النفسيه اللي هنستخدم النهارده اللي هنتكلم عنها دلوقتي وفكره ادمان الانواع دي من العقاقير او الدراجز. كل العقاقير اللي بتستخدم في ال ADHD بالذات اللي بتسبب تحفيز للمخ زي ما احنا بنسميها ال CNS stimulants، وهكررهم تاني زي الادرول والريتالين والفايفانس. كتير جدا بنلاقي طلبة الجامعات بيتعودوا على النوع ده من المواد عشان بتساعدهم على التركيز لفترة أطول. بخاطب كل الأهالي اللي موجودة بالذات هنا جوه في أمريكا إنه كتير من أطفالنا في السن ده بالذات سن الكلية بيتعود على النوع ده عشان بيخليه يذاكر فترات أطول، ولكن على اللونج ران بيسبب لهم تعود كبير جدا. النوع تاني من الستيمولانتس اللي بتسبب تعود كبير جدا، كتير من السيدات بيستخدموه عشان فقدان الوزن، وهو دواء مشهور جدا اسمه الفنترامين. ده بيسبب برضه نوع من التعود، ولكن الستات بتحب تستخدمه كتير جدا لأنه بيسبب فقدان للوزن بشكل كبير جدا. وعندنا طبعا الكاتيجوري الثالث او الجزء الثالث من السايكوستيمولانت اللي هو الحاجات الغير مسموح بيها قانونا طبعا زي الكوكين او الكوكايين في مصر بنسميه. غير كده الكريستال ماث اللي هو الباودر الموجود. كل دول طبعا القانون بيجرمهم تماما، ولكن الجزئين الاولانيين ممكن تلاقوهم تاخدوهم بروشيتا او بريسكريبشنز زي ما بنقول. فدول الثلاث حاجات اللي هنتكلم عليهم النهارده. الادويه بتاع الاي ADHD وازاي بيتم التعود عليها. النوع الثاني الادويه اللي بتستخدم لفقدان الوزن وازاي بيتم التعود عليها زي الفينترامين. النوع الثالث هو لكل الشباب للاسف اللي على النوع ده زي الكوكايين او الكريستال ميث. هنوريكم ازاي النهارده الحاجات دي مضره وازاي نقدر نتعالج منها.
So we do now know that stimulants increase alertness. Some stimulants, you mentioned something like cocaine and methamphetamines. They also can bring about a sense of euphoria. But for someone like me who doesn't know, what forms do these various stimulants come in? Is it powder form? Are they exclusively pill form? Are they injectables?
Yeah. Thank you again, Dr. Simon. You know, as Dr. Tamer was just explaining about the fact that you have these illicit drugs, particularly in the category of the amphetamines. These are the uppers, if you like, you know, and they're called uppers because they give you the euphoria. And over time, what has happened is that there are various ways in which they are formulated so that they can be administered in order to create the effects that a person who is dependent requires or is, you know, seeking. And so, you know, we would have the benefit of a beautiful slide that we have created.
How they look like, yeah.
Exactly, you know, so how do they look essentially? Yeah. And so you have the powder form.
They can take it from my iPad if they want. Go ahead.
Got it. And, you know, and the powder form of it can vary in color. Most commonly it is white to brown.
Okay.
There is also the same formulation in either tablet form or capsules. Again, it varies in color. And of course, the most potent form is crystal, you know, which, you know, you alluded to, Dr. Tamer, which is crystal meth.
Right.
You know, it's large sheet-like crystals or crystalline powder.
So what would I do with the powder? I mean, how is it administered, I guess is the question. Do I ingest it or?
Indeed, you know, there are various ways in which these, you know, illicit substances can be administered. They can be taken, if it's a capsule, orally. They can also be snorted, which is the powder form can be essentially converted into a pipe, for example, and so forth, and insufflated through the nose. They can be injected, you know, intravenously, and they can also be administered rectally in order to avoid, you know, the bypass metabolism and have
For
quick
faster.
absorption
Right.
and so forth and produce quick effects.
الحقيقة السؤال كان عن ازاي النوع ده من المحفزات النفسية بيشتغل بشكل عام، وكانت الإجابة انه في نوع من الباودر، وده هنوريه لحضراتكم دلوقتي في الصور. نوع من الباودر زي الكريستال ميث، وده كتير من للأسف من شبابنا وبالذات اللي هنا موجودين في أمريكا بيبقوا مدمنين عليه. النوع الثاني اللي هو التابلتس أو الكابسولز، ودي من انواعها الادويه بتاعه الاي دي اتش دي زي الريتالين او الادرال او الفايفانس، كمان زي الفينترامين، زي ما انا قلت اللي كتير من السيدات بياخدوه عشان فقدان الوزن، او الكريستال بشكل عام اللي هو الكريستال ميث، انا اسف الباودر زي الكوكايين بشكل عام. الكوكايين بيبقى جاي بنفس شكل الباودر ده، وزي ما انا قلت التابلتس والكابسولز بتبقى بالشكل بالحاجات اللي احنا شرحناها. الكريستال بيبقى زي الكريستال ميثامفيتامين، وده كتير من الشباب زي ما انا قلت هنا بيبقوا موجودين عليها. الحاجه الثانيه ان احنا كتير من الناس بتاخدهم يا اما عن طريق البق الاورال بشكل عام، او بيستخدموه عن طريق الغشاء المخاطي للانف ان هم بيشموه، او انه بياخدوه عن طريق الحقن، او بياخدوه عن طريق زي اللبوس بالظبط، وده عشان يدخل السيركيليشن او يدخل السيستم بتاعهم اسرع من الطبيعي. So now we know about the psychostimulant, how they look like, and the methods of administration, Dr. Sunder. My question is how those drugs affect or works in the body, either psychologically, on the brain, or physically.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that, the use of these illicit substances would not happen if it was not producing positive effects.
Right.
But on the other hand, we also know that the reason why they become dependent and so forth is that either they're becoming tolerant, which is the effects are waning, plus there are side effects and withdrawal effects that are, not creating the effects and so forth. So there are negative effects, if you like. We have the benefit of a brain scan slide.
The experience effects.
Experienced effects. And that really is a remarkable slide if you see, because what it shows you is that when a person is on either stimulants such as Adderall, this is a classic one, or illicit substances like meth and so forth. In the top version of this slide, you will notice the picture shows there's significant improvement in the perfusion, the blood circulation to the top of the brain, the superior cortical surface of the brain is significantly better. On the other hand, the bottom picture is when there is a marked decrease in the perfusion to the surface of the brain, when a person is doing a concentration task but is not on Adderall, is not taking it. So you can see the dramatic difference in circulation. That means when a person is on it, the person is able to have increased concentration, increased attention, increased focus, and can get a lot done. In fact, most people who are meth dependent come to our center and tell us that they are able to not sleep for long periods of time and are able to accomplish major tasks over 24, 48, 72 hours or so, and they haven't slept because, of course, the brain is significantly perfused and so forth. Those are the positive effects, and the opposite of that, of course, is that there are negative effects, which is that if there is too much of that, which is what happens with dependence and addictions and so forth, there's too much dopamine in the brain, if you like, because that's the way we saw earlier, that's the way the mechanism is. And that means they become paranoid, they become aggressive, and they have other physical effects in the body, such as the blood pressure goes up, the heart rate goes up, the breathing, becomes a problem, and so on.
سؤالي لدكتور سندر كان عن السايكوستيمولانت او المحفزات النفسيه اللي بنستخدمها وايه التاثير بتاعها سواء الجسدي او النفسي. زي ما شفنا السلايد اللي قبل كده، لو شفنا الصوره اللي فوق وتاثير العقاقير دي عليها، بنلاقيها انها بتزود كميه الدم اللي رايح جدا للمخ، بتزود كل العمليات الموجوده في المخ، وعشان كده بتستخدم في زياده التركيز. ولكن لما بيتم التعود عليها او اخذها بكميات اكتر من الطبيعي او ادمانها زي ما احنا بنسميها، فبتزود العنف جدا، بتخلي الانسان عنيف جدا، بتعمل له هلاوس سمعيه وبصريه وحسيه. كمان التعود عليها بيعمل نوع من الانسحاب من الجسم، هنناقش اعراض الانسحاب دلوقتي. ولكن زي ما قلنا بتبقى مدمره جدا للمخ، لانه لما بتوقفها هنشوف بعد اذنكم نرجع للسلايد تاني ان احنا نوري ناس كميه الدم بتقل قد ايه في الصوره اللي تحت. كميه الدم اللي رايحه المخ بتقل جدا، وبالتالي بتسبب اعراض كتير جدا هنناقشها دلوقتي، اللي هي اعراض الانسحاب من الادمان او من التعود على النوع ده من الدراجز.
So let's say I've been on psychostimulants, Dr. Sunder, for a period of years, and on my own I've started to self-medicate, and my tolerance has gone up, and as a result I'm suspecting that my dependence has gone up. And now I'm thinking about abstaining from taking the psychostimulants. What kind of withdrawal symptoms can I experience?
Absolutely. Thank you again for this, because as we realize that, as you take more and more of this, your brain is getting, used to taking larger amounts and becoming tolerant.
Right.
And that also means that there is a limit to which you can take it. And then once you stop, the brain now is craving it. And so there are withdrawal effects. The withdrawal effects are both psychological and physiological,
We'll have the slides up now.
Absolutely, And essentially you will notice that when you're taking stimulants, your appetite is suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
When you're withdrawing from it, you have increased hunger, right? Similarly, you will notice that, you might be more focused when you're taking too much of it. When you withdraw, you become very anxious, right? You become more irritable. You become more aggressive.
Right.
You have more mood swings, right? And of course, it caused euphoria when you were taking it, and you had become dependent and so forth. Now, the reverse of it is that you're going to get depressed, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. And bodily, when you're using stimulants, such as meth and cocaine, you're getting very energized. Your body is running at 100 miles an hour. You have all the energy in the world. But the reverse of it is that you're going to feel very fatigued, tired, and you're going to have long periods of restless sleep because you were not sleeping at all, for days together.
So you crash
nightmares
like
and so
days.
So you get all the paradoxical effects, if you like, the reverse of those effects that you gain by taking it on a long time. By withdrawing it, you're going to get all the deleterious effects, which is what then causes the dependence and a person to chase more and more of it.
Up to depression, severe depression sometimes. Right?
Severe depression, suicidality, psychosis, and so forth, requiring inpatient hospitalization. We'll be talking about the treatments in the latter part of the episode.
So, one of the questions I get asked by parents is that they'll say, my child has been prescribed Adderall. Is that bad? Such a simple question.
Right.
And how would you answer that question, Dr. Sunder?
Yeah, thank you for that. I think, what we have to recognize is that you have a neurodevelopmental condition in ADHD. We understand with brain scanning and brainwave, testing and so forth, that there are deficits in dopamine dysregulation. That means in the hands of a good child psychiatrist and so forth, you obviously will benefit from taking medications such as Adderall and Ritalin in prescribed doses for the duration that is necessary when it is, in conjunction with psychological interventions as well as, treatments such as neurofeedback and nourishing the brain, comprehensive approach. However, we have to recognize that this has to be monitored on a consistent basis because there is always the risk of developing abuse and tolerance and dependence and all the side effects that come with it. So you must monitor with the help of, a good trained doctor and a good trained psychologist. So it is not about it being bad, but it's about really recognizing the balance that is necessary.
Right, and we get the same question also from the ladies who's prescribed phentermine for weight loss. So it's the same question.
Same question, right? And then the follow-up question usually is that now that my son or my daughter is on Adderall, is he going to be or is she going to be on Adderall for the rest of his or her life?
Right.
Is this a lifetime commitment? How would you respond to that?
Yeah. This again, is a very important question with regard to, how long should this treatment be administered and so forth.
And we divide them to like 3/3 last time. Like one of them, they last for it till the age of 16. And the other third, they last for it till the age of 23. And some of them, it lasts forever, so they have beyond treatment. So I think that's how we explained it last time.
That's true, that that you have a proportion of folks who experience this that might have resolution of the symptoms to the extent that they can functionally perform without the need of medications. Still others might on and off need medications and psychological intervention and neurofeedback. And still others might, not have these symptoms resolved in adulthood and might need the benefit of it. Now, what is important, and we'll be touching upon this, to recognize is that there are contraindications to the use of psychostimulants.
Right.
You know, and that there are medical contraindications, there are psychological contraindications towards the use, and that is why it's extremely important to recognize that use of psychostimulants has to be done in the hands of a trained psychiatrist, trained physician who understands this, and it has to be done across the lifespan. You know, if there is a medication that has to be taken over a long period of time, it also means that a long-term monitoring has to be done, just as you would do with diabetes or with hypertension. You know, if you're insulin dependent, you're going to need it for life and so forth. You are going to be in the hands of a good doctor, and you're going to measure that what needs to be measured across the span.
سؤال كان رائع جدا جدا جدا، وهو ايه الخط الفاصل ما بين كتير قوي من الاباء والامهات بيسالوا طب انا لو ابني على ريتالين او ادرال او فايفانس او كل النوع دي من العلاجات بتاع الاي دي اتش دي، وكتير من الستات بيسال نفس السؤال لو هم على فينترامين عشان يفقدوا من الوزن. في دكاتره بتحط بعض السيدات على النوع ده من الدواء عشان يفقدوا وزن. ازاي اعرف ان انا ما بقتش في تعود تام عليه، وان انا افصل ما بين احتياجي لده وان انا ابقى متعود عليه؟ المهم زي ما قال دكتور سندر، المهم ده يتم عن طريق دكتور متخصص، وانه يديكي الجرعات اللي ما تسببلكيش النوع ده من الادمان. والسؤال الثاني اللي كان وراه انه طيب انا لو النوع ده بدات اتعود على الادويه دي، مش بس زي ما انا قلت ادويه الويت لوس زي الفينترامين او ادويه الاي دي اتش دي زي الريتالين والادرال، ولكن كمان شبابنا للاسف يعني ربنا يعني ما يسمحش ان معظم شبابنا يتحطوا على النوع ده، ولكن في شباب كتير بيبقوا على الكوكين، بيبقوا على الكريستال ماث. ايه هي اعراض اللي بتظهر عليهم؟ زي ما احنا قلنا زياده في ضربات القلب، زياده في الضغط، وكل الكلام ده ناقشناه، ولكن اعراض الانسحاب من الادويه دي بتبقى عباره عن ايه؟ زي ما شرح دكتور سندر انه احيانا انه الناس دي لما بتبتدي تبطل الادويه دي بيحصل نوع من الجوع الشديد جدا جدا بعد ما انت توقف الادويه دي. عشان كده بنقول للسيدات اللي على فينترامين بالذات مهم جدا ان انت تغيري ستايل حياتك عشان تاكلي بشكل افضل، عشان بعد ما توقفي الفينترامين لفترات هتبتدي يعني تحسي بجوع شديد جدا وهترجعي تكسبي الوزن اللي انت فقدتيه. النقطه الثانيه بيحسوا بقلق شديد جدا نتيجه اعراض الانسحاب لكل الثلاث انواع من دول. النقطة الثالثة المهمة انه هيبتدي يحسوا بهلاوس سمعية وبصرية، وكتير منهم بيحسوا انه في حاجات ماشية على جسمهم، شايفين حاجات على الحيطة، والحاجات اللي بنسمعها من كل البيشنتس دي. رابع نقطة مهمة جدا انه بتحس باكتئاب ديبريشن شديد جدا جدا بعدها. في منهم وبالذات الأسر لازم تلاحظ ده على الشباب، نلاقي الشباب بيبتدي ينام يومين ثلاثة على بعض نتيجة أعراض انسحاب الدراجز دي من جسمهم، وبالذات مع الكوكين والكريستال ماث بنشوفها كتير جدا. بيبتدوا يحلموا أحلام سيئة جدا، كوابيس يعني زي ما بنقول. وناقشنا البارانويا والديبريشن، كمان بيبقى عندهم نوع من العنف الشديد جدا بعد أنواع الانسحاب دي، بعد أنواع انسحاب الدراجز دي من جسمهم. دلوقتي هنقف وناخد فاصل، ولكن مستنيين كل أسئلة حضراتكم سواء عن طريق الفيسبوك أو عن طريق التليفون، إن أنتوا تبعتوا لنا كل الأسئلة عن علاج ال ADHD أو التعود على النوع ده من المحفزات النفسية وطرق العلاج بتاعته. هنرجع لكم ولكن بعد الفاصل.
Brain Tune, brain optimization nutraceutical product line. Our first product is the Brain Shake, which contains plant-based nutrients to help with energy, focus, vitality, and joy. Our second product is turmeric, which is an Indian spice with anti-inflammatory and brain optimization properties. Our third product is the Brain Honey, which is a very sweet preparation that contains wonderful nutraceutical ingredients, cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric, in addition to the beauty of honey. To buy one of our Brain Tune healthy products, please visit us on the Amazon link as seen on the screen, or visit our website at www.drsunder.com.
لشراء إحدى هذه المنتجات زوروا موقعنا الإلكتروني drsunder.com، أو يمكنكم شراء هذه المنتجات من على موقع amazon.com. اهلا بيكم اعزائنا المشاهدين مره تانية. واحد من الاسئله اللي جات لنا دلوقتي، حد من الاباء بيسال في اي كونترا انديكيشن او تضاد من ان انا احط ابني على ريتالين او اديرال، او في فحوصات معينه لازم تتم قبل ما احط ابني على ريتالين او اديرال، وايه هي الاعراض الجانبيه بتاعتهم؟ Actually, my question will be very specific now about Ritalin and Adderall. Is there any contraindications for them to put our kids on Ritalin and Adderalls? And is there any characteristics for getting dependent on Ritalin and Adderall specifically?
Yeah. I think, again, very important questions, Dr. Tamer. I think in the hands of a good pediatrician or child psychiatrist, essentially, a thorough evaluation is conducted before putting a child on stimulant medication, because that's a very important decision. Once you want to medicate the child, that means you're essentially working on the brain to optimize it. So you want to make sure that there are conditions that are appropriate for the child, both psychological conditions as well as physical conditions. Okay. So what we do know is that stimulants can actually affect the heart rhythms, so they can cause what we call dysrhythmias. Okay. And one of them is supraventricular tachycardia. And so it is important that the child has had an EKG, or if necessary for any other heart defects that are there, such as an echo and so forth. And that is an appropriate thorough screen that is done, because you want to monitor that as time goes on, as the child is more than likely, once that decision has been made, that the child will actually have this for a while. And so you want to make sure that the body actually is able to cope with the metabolic side effects and so forth. The other is thyroid conditions. If you have an overactive thyroid, then again, it causes tachycardia and so on. So it actually enhances those problems. Mm-hmm. Glaucoma is another condition. And if there are blood vessel diseases, such as hypertension, although rare in the childhood period, but still, this is a relative contraindication in terms of making sure that, the blood pressure is well regulated.
Does it affect the breast milk for nursing moms?
That's a great point. We do know that stimulant medications do cross, the breast milk. And so it is important to recognize that if there is attention deficit disorder in pregnancy or in the postpartum period, that a good risk-benefit analysis has been conducted and so forth, because what you don't want is that the medications and the metabolites are actually transferred through the breast milk and affecting the developing brain of the neonate.
سؤالي لدكتور سندر، لأنه السؤال ده الحقيقة جالنا من أحد الآباء والأمهات عن فكرة في اي تضاد او في حاجات لازم افحصها في طفلي قبل ما احطه على ريتالين او اديرول عن طريق السايكايترست بتاعه؟ والحقيقه الاجابه كانت مهمه جدا، لانه قال ان احنا واحد لازم نفحص قلب الطفل تماما، لازم نعمل EKG ونتاكد انه قلبه سليم، ما عندوش اي مشاكل في انتظام ضربات القلب، لانه حاجه من الحاجات اللي بيعملها الريتالين والاديرول انه بيأثر على ضربات القلب وبيزود سرعتهم. حاجه تانية مهمه جدا ان انا اعمل فحص للغده الدرقيه عند الطفل، لانه ده هيبقى مهم جدا لانه لو في اي نشاط زايد للغده الدرقيه، الريتالين والاديرول وكل الحاجات يعني علاجات ADHD هتزود وهتخليها أسوأ. حاجه الثالثه، الاطفال اللي بتتولد او بيحصل عندها ميه زرقاء اللي هي بنسميها الجلوكوما، ما بنحبش نحطهم على النوع ده من الادويه. الاطفال اللي عندهم مشاكل في القلب بشكل عام ما بنحبهاش. سالته اذا كان الريتالين والاديرول او كل ADHD ميديكيشن، لانه في امهات بتفضل عليهم اثناء فتره الحمل للاسف، ودكاتره بيوصفوهم بعد فترات الحمل للامهات اللي ما بتقدرش تركز لفترات طويله بعد الولاده. فقال لي ايوه انه بينزل مع لبن الام وبيأثر على الاطفال، ولذلك الامهات اللي بترضع ما بيفضلش ان هي تاخد الانواع ده من الميديكيشن.
Dr. Sunder, you know what I've discovered? It's a very fascinating correlation. Individuals who were prescribed Adderall or Ritalin in their childhood years, when they go to high school or in college, they're fascinated with experimenting with crystal methamphetamines. And then what I'd like for you to discuss is, you know, what are the withdrawal symptoms? What does the dependency look like? Certainly, I see a tremendous correlation between discontinuing the use of Adderall and then moving right into crystal meth once they're of the appropriate age.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is an important issue in society today, where we find that the brain has gotten primed with a stimulant, if you like, you know, and so now the brain is receptive to illicit use because, of course, if you don't monitor it appropriately and don't take it as prescribed and so on and so forth, and, you know, you have the propensity to increase beyond what is prescribed, then you're going to be seeking the euphoria and all the positive benefits, which is where a lot of folks then jump into illicit use, such as use of methamphetamine and cocaine and so on. And as you know, you would, of course, initially get the benefits of euphoria, increased energy, and increased focus with the use of meth. But as we discussed earlier, once you stop it, you're going to get both psychological and systemic effects. And there's a wonderful slide that shows us the negative effects of the use of methamphetamine, and thank you. And you'll notice that, you know, there is problems related to sleep, behavior, mood symptoms, becoming increasingly paranoid, you know, and if you find someone who is constantly chatting and you can't interrupt because they just have become excessively talkative and so forth, and they're becoming irritable, the speech is not very clear, you know, they're in and out of consciousness, bit confused, they're getting panic attacks, sometimes they're depressed, sometimes they are elevated and so forth. That's a problem that we are seeing.
So could that be misconstrued sometimes as being bipolar?
I think that's a fair question in terms of the fact that you are experiencing that. But you have to remember that with bipolar disorder, you are getting a consistent, you know, defined behavior over a period of time. Whereas with someone who's using, when they are on it, they're experiencing some symptoms. When they're off it, they're experiencing other symptoms.
Right.
And when they are sober, they're not experiencing any of these symptoms. So you see a different pattern. So it's almost like an artificially induced mood disorder. You know? It's a stimulant induced.
And they don't get hungry, they don't sleep for 2-3 days like the methamphetamine dependence.
The joke here in the United States is that if you're a restaurant owner, the best time to ask your kitchen staff to clean the kitchen is when they're on methamphetamine.
Right, because they'll do a great job.
And it's very thorough.
What other symptoms as a negative effect of the methamphetamine, like on the skin, for example, mouth, eyes?
Absolutely, you know, and I think in particular with methamphetamine, and in our clinical practice we see this, it is extremely unfortunate that someone who is highly functioning can rather rapidly change over a short period of time, having both psychological and physiological effects. In fact, we put together a slide that shows the horrors of methamphetamine use. And there are few illicit drugs of use that cause such tremendous effects on the body, the brain, and as well as the physiology.
We can get the slide up now on the screen to show people how it really affects the skin and the teething too.
Yeah,
teething
absolutely. In fact, what we notice in this slide is that this young man, age 23, you will notice how he has progressed age 25 over a period of, in just a matter of 2 years. Someone who had, a good skin texture and so on and so forth, that has worsened completely. And this is because of the fact that there are hallucinations that are caused and so forth, so that the person feels as though there are bugs under the skin, and they start picking the skin. There's acne. And you will also notice that there is decreased appetite. So they're not really eating at all. And they're just almost, the received wisdom in this is that they are literally consuming energy from the air, if you like, as opposed to from food. And that means that their muscles and the fat in the body is disappearing. And that's why they appear gaunt, the cheeks look sunken, the eye sockets look sunken and so forth. The teeth and the gums, because, they're again not eating. That means that the saliva is essentially, not doing what it needs to do. Plus, there is the corrosive effect of the methamphetamine on the enamel of the teeth and so forth, and the gums and the blood vasculature to the gums. Everything is disrupted, so that you get this cumulative effect of someone who has aged several years, sometimes decades, in a short period of time because of the use of meth, as well as becoming very dependent.
السؤال الثاني كان بالذات لشبابنا وكتير منهم الموجودين هنا اللي بيدمنوا على نوع اسمه الكريستال ميثامفيتامين، واحنا وريناه لحضراتكم بيبقى عامل زي الكريستالز او حبات السكر. مهم جدا للاهالي تلاحظ هي بتبقى نفس فكره اعراض التعود، اللي هي نشاط زايد مره واحده، اكتيفيتي زياده، اجريسيفنس، احيانا بيحس انه زي ما دكتور سندر قال بيبقى في حاجات ماشيه تحت جلدهم، بيبقى في هلاوس سمعيه، سامعين اصوات، هلاوس بصريه، كل الكلام ده. وقلنا بعد ما بيبطلوه استخدامه لمده يومين ثلاثه بيبتدي يحصل الديبرشن الفظيع او الاكتئاب الفظيع، بيناموا باليومين ثلاثه. ولكن للاهالي عشان تلاحظ ده، الصوره تاني بتاع الشخص اللي كان موجود بالذات اللي على كريستال ماث، بيحصل لهم حاجه اسمها سبيد بومبس بتبقى في السكين بتاعهم. لو نعمل زوم ان كمان هنشوف فكره الكريستال ماث. والاهالي للاسف بتفكر انه ده نوع من انواع حب الشباب ولا حاجه طالع لاولادهم، ولكن السبيد بومبس دي بتبقى مهمه جدا ان احنا نلاحظها على اولادنا وعلى وشهم، بالذات اللي بيعملوا كريستال ماث. كمان بيأثر جدا على السنان، وبنلاقي اولادنا اللي في سن 20 25 سنه فجأة بدأ يطلع لهم مشاكل في اسنانهم، يفقدوا انواع كتيره، اسنان كتيره من اسنانهم بدون سبب واضح. باكد على نقطه كمان الاكني، اللي هو الاهالي بتفكر انه في حبوب شباب او حاجه، ولكن لازم نركز مع اولادنا كويس جدا جدا جدا، بالذات اللي على النوع ده من الدراجز.
So now let's take a look at two other illicit drugs. One is cocaine and the other one is crack cocaine. Dr. Sunder, if you can walk us through a little bit about what are the similarities between these two, how do their dependencies look like, and what is their withdrawal symptoms are?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you bring up a very important issue with regard to the illicit stimulants, if you like. There are many similarities between cocaine and methamphetamine in that they stimulate the dopamine system in the brain and produce similar effects. Now, cocaine, of course, is a Schedule II drug in the United States and has been used as a stimulant for thousands of years, and it is derived from a coca plant, the leaves, and it's made into a paste.
Okay.
And then the paste is converted into a powder form. And we have this elegant slide that actually shows you a pictorial representation of it. And then finally, once it's processed into a powder form, there's profit associated with selling it, in the illicit form. And that means that it is then contaminated with other constituents, which is why you get all of these deleterious side effects and adverse effects on the human body, because it's not just pure cocaine. The purity can range from anywhere between 10% to 85% or so, because meth is added to it and other, substances are added to it. So it's essentially processed in a different way. As they call it in the language, it's cut, with, different constituents.
The most characteristic of cocaine, nasal septum perforation, sometimes when they snort it, right?
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, that, snorting of cocaine is associated with perforation of the nasal septum, and also cocaine can cause sudden cardiac arrest and death and stroke because it is, at the end of the day, a vasoconstrictor, if you like.
السؤال كان مهم جدا عن بالذات الشباب اللي على كوكين او كوكايين زي ما بنسميه لمصر فترات طويله. هو نفس فكره الكريستال ميث اللي ناقشناها، ولكن نتيجه انه بيبقى في باودر فورم، نتيجه ان هم بيشموهم كذا مره، بيحصل احيانا ثقب في الحاجز الانفي اللي موجود قدام. Another important drug is phenetramine. A lot of ladies, they're fascinated with phenetramine for weight loss. So question, is it addictive, and how it works, and is there any side effects for it?
Yeah, great question, Dr. Tamer. Phenetramine is, it's the generic name for a prescription stimulant weight loss medication. And in the hands of a doctor who essentially addresses weight loss and so forth, this is an additional aid, if you like, but not a sole treatment for obesity or weight loss.
Okay.
Because again, it works like a stimulant and decreases appetite and so forth. But at the same time, it can produce the same stimulant side effects such as euphoria, agitation, increased anxiety, sleep issues, as well as, if used excessively, paranoia and so forth. Now, it is less addictive than methamphetamine, which is why it has been off-label utilized as a prescription use, but it's still habit-forming,
السؤال كان مهم جدا على ستات كتير جدا بقت بالذات هنا في امريكا انه مغرمين بفكره الفينترامين، فعلا بيقلل الوزن بشكل كبير جدا، ولكن السؤال جه كان هو ادكتيف. دكتور سندر قال انه ايوه جزء منه بيبقى ادكتيف، وللاسف جزء من البيشنتس بيتعودوا عليه، ولكن هو نفس اذا اتعودت عليه وابتديت تاخد اكتر زياده عن الدكتور كاتبه في اليوم، نفس فكره اعراض الانسحاب والدبريشن الفظيع اللي بنشوفه احيانا بعد فكره اعراض الانسحاب. المشاهده اللي اتصلت واتكلمت على ابنها، الوايت كوت هيحاول يساعد ويبعت لمصر النوع ده من الدواء اللي حضرتك طلبتيه، فايوه هنحاول نجيبه لك ونبعته مع حد نازل مصر ونبعته لحضرتك، فما تقلقيش من الموضوع ده. Usually the last question, and I want to start the treatment. Now we got to the point of dependence of the psychostimulant. What is the treatment and lines of treatment for psychostimulant? And I want you to mention the neurofeedback and how it works in this treatment, since you're one of the pioneers of using neurofeedback in that treatment.
Sure, thank you, Dr. Tamer. Indeed, the final question really is, so you have this problem, you've been diagnosed.
How to solve it.
How do you solve it,
Right.
And fortunately today we have the benefit of science and technology, as well as all the approaches that we can combine in order to essentially get you back into recovery and get you back into wellness, So again, as we talked earlier, it's a comprehensive approach. If you have become dependent to a point that, you're not able to stop it on your own with the help of outpatient, you have to get into an inpatient treatment, So you'll have to have medication-assisted treatment that has to happen in the hands of trained doctors and a good center that, you might have to stay in a residential.
And that would be the answer for, we have another question. A lady is asking, she gets depression after she stops phenetramine. So medication-assisted treatment would be the answer for her.
Yes.
Right?
That is true, If the person is really experiencing depressive symptoms, that fundamentally means that they need to be in a setting where they can be monitored and medications could be utilized in order to assist the entire process so that they can come off of it safely and effectively.
I'll get back to the neurofeedback. Let me translate. أنا كنت بسأل على إدمان، بما إن أنا وصلت لدرجة الإدمان ومش قادر أوقف لوحدي النوع ده من الدراجز. بأكد تاني الأدوية اللي أنا بتكلم عليها هي أدوية ال ADHD، الريتالين، فايفانس، أدرول. لو ما أنا واصل لمرحلة إن أنا ابتديت أستهلك أكتر مش قادر أوقفها، الفينترامين كعلاج لزيادة الوزن بشكل عام، أو الناس أو الشباب والشابات اللي يعني بيبتدوا يدمنوا الكوكين أو الكراكوكين أو الكريستال ميث. كل دول إذا مش قادر تبطل لوحدك، دكتور سندر قال إن أنت أيوة في علاج، لازم تدخل المستشفى يعني inpatient unit، ولازم تتعالج. لازم كمان يبقى في سايكولوجيكال كونسل، جزء نفسي بنتعامل معاه، والنيورو فيدباك اللي هو الأجهزة الجديدة اللي بنستخدمها في علاج النوع ده من الإدمان، وكمان بنستخدمها في علاج ال ADHD. هوريها لحضراتكم في فيديو دلوقتي لمدة 55 ثانية، وازاي دكتور سندر بيتكلم عليها، ونرجع نناقش آخر جزء في العلاج.
Neurofeedback is sophisticated technology that allows the brain to witness itself using computer software. So essentially, it is like a gym for the brain.
What I love so much about neurofeedback is that this is non-invasive. I can relax, I can sit back, enjoy the treatments. It's often like meditation.
What you do is you apply sensors to the scalp, and then you capture the brainwave activity. The computer then reads the brainwave activity and provides feedback to the brain. So the brain becomes curious about what is going on and starts.
أنا كنت عايزة أوري لحضراتكم النوع ده من العلاج لأنه مفيد جدا لأطفالنا، بالذات اللي على ADHD والشباب اللي أدمن كل أنواع العقاقير، أو السيدات اللي كانوا على فينترامين لفترات طويلة، أو الريتالين، أدرال، فايفانس. كل العلاجات دي، النوع ده من العلاج جديد جدا. واحد من رواد العلاج ده هنا في كاليفورنيا دكتور سندر بيستخدمه بشكل كويس جدا، وبيجيب نتائج. بيشنتس كتير جدا اتكلموا على العلاج ده وازاي انه مفيد جدا. As one of the pioneers for those kind of treatment for the neurofeedback here, how would you explain to people how it benefit the ADHD or the psychostimulant dependence or other diseases like anxiety and depression?
Yeah, great question, and thank you indeed for helping us to highlight the benefits of this advanced modality that is garnering more research. And we ourselves have published a review research article that can be, accessed at our website and so forth, about the benefits of neurofeedback. Neurofeedback is a technological aid that helps the brain to witness its own activity. So we are capturing the brainwave activity, and then through feedback, we are presenting the brainwave activity back to the brain. And there are different protocols that have been designed specifically to target conditions such as anxiety and insomnia and depression and so forth, attachment trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, even amongst the returning war veterans, for example. And, targeting different parts of the brain that are associated with, we talked about it, executive function and so forth, which is what gets affected both in children where there is ADHD and adults who have executive function deficits that develop later on, or for peak performers like athletes and so forth, who want to improve their performance and recognize that it has to be done without the use of stimulant medications and recreational drugs and so forth. So it's almost like a natural way to enhance the brainwave activity and perform that. It's almost like a brain gym, except that the computer is performing the gym activity for your brain, if you like. So you're exercising the brain.
سؤالي كان عن فكرة العلاج بالبرين اوبتمايزيشن او النوع ده او النيورو فيدباك، الاجهزه بتاعه النيورو فيدباك. دكتور سندر قال انه شايف نتائج كويسه جدا جدا عليها، زي ما احنا في الفيديو شفنا بيشنتس. لو احنا كنا الفيديو طويل، لو كنا كملناه كنا سمعنا كل المرضى بيتكلموا هم ازاي يتحسنوا. زي ما انا قلت بينفع اطفالنا بالذات في السن اللي قبل 7 سنين، لما احنا ما نقدرش نديهم ميديكيشن زي ما اتفقنا قبل سن 7 سنين. بينفع في المرحله العمريه من سن 4 ل7 سنين، وكمان بينفع بعد كده انه يساعد الميديكيشن. شفنا اطفال هنا اتحسنت عليه من غير ميديكيشنز خالص، لانه هي الفكره كله انه زي ما انت بتروح الجيم عشان تنمي عضلاتك، هو ده الجيم بتاع المخ. هو ده اللي بيدرب مخك ازاي تقعد تركز لفترات اطول، وبيهدي كل الاكتيفيتي او النشاط الذهني اللي موجود في المخ عن طريق انواع معينه من السوفت وير او البرامج اللي بتشتغل على المشكله دي. كمان لكل المدمنين للنوع ده من الادويه زي اللي شرحناهم، اللي هم السايكوستيمولانت او المنشطات النفسيه اللي احنا شرحناها كلها بانواعها، النوع ده من العلاج بيبقى مفيد جدا جدا جدا. Is there any pharmacological treatment for specific pharmacological treatment for psychostimulant dependence?
You know, it's a great question you bring up that, you know, there has been a tremendous search to actually address this from the pharmacological standpoint. In particular for cocaine, there has been a search for cocaine vaccines that essentially create a way to prevent the, you know, euphoric effects of using cocaine and so forth. Specifically, the target really is to decrease the cravings that a person experiences. So medications that fundamentally decrease cravings can sometimes be off-label utilized in order to really address relapse prevention and recurrent cravings and so forth. But there are no specific treatments for methamphetamine dependence or cocaine dependence overall, or for that matter, stimulant
And of course,
dependence.
take care of the blood pressure, right? Before
Yes,
anything.
symptomatic relief in terms of, you know, addressing the blood pressure, anxiety, insomnia, paranoia, and so on and so forth. But really, the issue is if you've got acute problems, then you need to be in an inpatient setting so that you can be tapered off very slowly and so forth, if not in an outpatient setting and so forth, so that, you know, a combined approach could be used.
الحقيقه انا سالته اذا كان في اي نوع معين او دواء معين للنوع ده من الادمان، قال لي لا، احنا بنعالج بس الاعراض، زي ان احنا بناخد بالنا من الضغط العالي بنحاول نوطيه. في ادويه بتستخدم اوف ليبل عشان بس نقلل الكريفنجز، او ان انت تحاول تستخدم تاني الامفيرامين. دي كانت حلقتنا النهارده، التعامل مع الاي دي اتش دي واحدث طرق العلاج ليه، كمان التعود على النوع ده من المنشطات النفسيه. بنشكركم ان انتم كنتوا معانا النهارده، هنستناكم الاسبوع الجاي وحلقه جديده من وايت كوت.